Hey guys, Stella here, back again with another video for you all. Now last week I did a video on some questions that I received on an AMA and it was centered around the topic of relationships and love. There was one particular question that I didn't answer yet because it required more of an in-depth answer, and that's the question that I'll be answering today in my video. So today's topic is 6 ways to effectively get over a breakup. Now, most of us have been there before where we've had our hearts broken, and it is easier said than done to just get over it and move on. But there are things that you can do to make the situation a little bit easier on yourself and for the other person as well. So that's what I'll be discussing today. Now, regardless of how amicable the breakup was or how mutual it was, the number one thing that I will recommend for anyone who's trying to get over a breakup is to give each other some space. Now, for most of us, when we break up, we always say, let's be friends. We want to still keep that close distance, that connection, and have them there whenever we need them because that's what we've been used to. Firstly, because we can't let go. And secondly, maybe part of us wants to keep them there so that there's always that chance of reconciling and getting back together with them. But it's important to remember that if you've decided to break up, or if the relationship is truly over, you need to move on. And you can't do that if you're constantly seeing them, you're still having the same habits, they still come over to your house every Friday afternoon, you're still texting and calling them as per normal. Whatever reason it was that caused you to break up is not going to be resolved. So as hard as it is, it's important to give each other some space, even if you give it a time frame. Let's give each other some space for a month. Let's not contact each other, not check each other's Facebooks. You don't have to block them of everything, but just not talk to them. You may find that the first couple of weeks you feel the need to say good morning to them, ask them how their day is, and still connect with them via messages and things like that, which is fine. But draw that line and try your best to stay behind it. And you'll find that after the first couple of weeks of dwindling messages, you won't feel the need to contact them every day anymore. Number 2, understand that the reason why you want them back so badly is because you want them for the version that you're hoping they will be, or the version that you thought they were, or the version that they used to be. But it's not the version that they are now. So if someone has broken up with you, or you feel the need to have broken up with somebody because of their personality or because of a certain issue, if you feel like you want them back badly afterwards, chances are it's not actually them you want. And you need to remember that. Remember that the person that they are now is not the person that they used to be. What you're hoping for is the relationship that's in your head, in your fantasies. But the reason why you broke up is because you couldn't get that fantasy to happen. You couldn't have that person the way you had hoped them to be. And it's important to remember that amongst all the emotions and the heartbreak and the pain of a breakup, remember that it happened for a reason. And understand that the person that you want so badly to come back to you may not actually exist. And if they do come back, it's not going to be the person that you want. Number 3, don't stalk them, especially if you are the one who was broken up with. It's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of stalking the other person, constantly checking their social media to see what they're up to. You start stalking them, their family, their new girlfriend or boyfriend. And it is not healthy. Not only does it not change anything, but you're basically just watching them live the life that you wish you had, or live the life that you wish you were still a part of. When that's not the case anymore, the reality is that you no longer have this person in your life, whether you like it or not. And by constantly checking what they're doing, it'll only cause more pain for yourself. It won't allow you to move on. And chances are there'll be a lot of great opportunities in life, whether it's relationship-wise, work-wise, financially, friendships, a lot of opportunities in life that you might be missing because you're so focused and obsessed with looking at whatever this person is doing. So as tempting as it may be to continue following them on social media, maybe you just need to unfriend them, unfollow them, or just mute their stories. There are functions on social media nowadays that allows you to still be friends, still follow them without seeing their every move. And if you find that you honestly can't help it, the fact that you've got them on social media means you have to check on everything that they do, then block them, remove them. And once you allow a few days, a week, 2 weeks to not see what they're doing anymore, you'll start to realize that you can actually live a life without watching their every move. In fact, you'll have so much free time on your hands to actually go out and make a life of your own and learn to enjoy life without this other person once again. Allow yourself to grieve the relationship, then move on. A lot of us try to forget too soon or let it go too early, or we try not to think about it and ignore the pain. But ultimately, it's going to creep up back onto us, like most painful memories and emotions tend to do. So instead of waiting for it to creep back onto us Set that time aside for yourself to go over the relationship, reflect on whatever it is that you need to, feel the pain, feel the anger, the hurt, the emotions, whatever it is, however it is that it ended. If it ended badly, you might need a little bit more time to grieve over that as well. But process the information and allow your brain and your heart and your soul to get used to the idea that you no longer have this person in your life before you fill your mind with other things to distract you. If you don't allow yourself that grieving process, that time to fully reflect and understand and recover slightly, what you'll find happens is that those thoughts, that negativity, that pain will always be creeping back up onto you, whether it's in a few months' time or in a few years' time. Anything you don't process now may end up damaging something in future. If you start a new relationship with somebody else and you haven't fully processed the end of this relationship, you're going to bring a lot of negative energy and emotions and feelings into that new relationship, which is unfair for the other person and unfair for yourself as well, because you're not giving yourself a clean slate to start again, and you're not allowing yourself to give that relationship 100% because you're still caught up with the old one. Number 5, learn to love yourself more than you love the other person and start doing more things for you. Now, anyone who's been in a relationship will know you put in a lot of time and effort. And when you come out of a relationship, suddenly you have so much free time on your hands. Concentrate on doing the things that maybe you've sacrificed in the past because of the relationship. Relationships are all about compromises, and chances are when you were with that person, you gave up on a couple of things that you wanted to do because you wanted to spend time with that person, or it clashed with that person's schedule, or for whatever reason it is. There's no right or wrong to it. Chances are that other person also made those sacrifices for you as well, so that's fine. But now that you have that free time on your hands, go and explore and create a life that you want. Take up hobbies that you've always wanted to, or contact some old friends to go out for a drink, to dinner. So go out and start building a life that consists of entirely of all the things that you love and the things that you want to do. And start finding an identity of who you are without the other person. Last but not least, number 6, learn to appreciate the relationship that you had and see it as a learning experience, no matter how it ended. Now, whether it was a mutual breakup or it ended badly and it was the fault of one particular person, it doesn't matter. What's done is done, it's in the past. And it's important not to look back on the relationship and the time that you spent on it as wasted time. It's important not to hold anger and hatred for the other person or for the relationship, no matter how it ended. Ultimately, you were with that person for a reason. And no doubt there would have been some good times, right, for you to have stayed in the first place. But whether it was mostly good or mostly bad, these are all memories and experiences that you can learn from, that you can appreciate. Everything that we do helps us to learn, helps us to grow. As long as we can see it that way ourselves, and we can take away the experience and we can take away the lesson from what's happened. And we can't do that if we're still harboring hatred for the other person, if we're still angry about how they've done you wrong or how much time you've wasted. Never think of a relationship that you've had as wasted time. Don't value the relationship based on how it ended. Instead, learn to appreciate the time that you had. Think about the lessons that you've learned from the bad that you can carry on to future relationships. Maybe the next relationship you have will be the one, and that will be the one that lasts forever, purely because of all the lessons that you've learned from this relationship that didn't work. And had that not happened, you would not have had that relationship. Learn to think about the good times that you've had as well, and appreciate them for what they are. Appreciate the fact that you were able to spend your time having those moments of happiness that you were able to enjoy with somebody else. Just because it ended, or it didn't end the way that you would like it to, it doesn't mean it was wasted time. And if anything, maybe at that point in your life, it was something that you needed to do, you needed to experience in order to grow as a person. So try your best to be grateful for that experience. And if you can't be grateful, then at the very least, don't be angry. Don't look back on the past with negative thoughts and emotions, because it'll only harm yourself and hinder your ability to move on and enjoy what could be an amazing life. But that's pretty much it. Those are my tips for getting over a breakup. I know it's easier said than done. Obviously, if you're the person that's going through the breakup, especially if something happened where the other person may have done you wrong in a way, it is hard to get over. But time heals all wounds. And it's important to remember that there was a time before that person existed in your life and you were perfectly fine. There is no reason why you're not perfectly fine without them once again. Thank you so much for listening today, guys. If you've got any comments at all, share your experiences, opinions, or got any more questions, please feel free to pop them down below or send us a message. Be sure to click subscribe and like and follow on all of our channels. We're on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and please make sure to follow me on social media as well. My handle is stellabella.au, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to hear from you. Any questions that you may have that you want me to answer in future videos, please let me know. Any feedback or comments on today's topics, be sure to drop me a line as well. I hope you all have a wonderful week, build some great relationships, friendships, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.